that good.
All right, everyone. Let me put this music down here. Thank you for watching. So, we're talking about coffee, and there's a whole bunch of conversation
Oh my
happening
gosh.
right now, and we haven't even started.
ADHD.
Is it you have ADHD too?
Yeah, I got a lot of things.
Mine is undiagnosed, y'all.
Okay.
I mean, technically, if you grew up in a Puerto Rican household, you all have ADHD.
Oh, well, there we go. Okay, well.
Or
So-
PTSD.
or PTSD. Or look, there's that new song everyone's talking about: trauma, constipation,
shit.
PTSD.
Nah.
Like it's a little girl that sang the song. But for
She
those
said
that are,
constipation. Jesus Christ.
well, I'll show you guys the video.
We're gonna
Oh
start
no,
like that,
we're
huh?
gonna start.
Jesus.
We haven't done the introduction, so hello everyone. Thank you for watching the Wise Coffee Chat show. This is Jennifer Sanchez. I'm your founder of the Wise Coffee Chat. I put together networking events, co-ed, women events, retreats, all types of stuff. I've done conferences. I'm a real estate investor, so if anyone's looking to sell their property, reach out to me. I buy property cash, 30 days or less, no fees. And then, of course, I'm a mom of 3 beautiful girls, so that's who I am. I'll pass it over to my co-host.
Hi, everybody. It's Delilah. I know y'all haven't seen me on Facebook in a minute, but it was good to detox.
She was
I
detoxing.
was detoxing, y'all. But my name is Delilah, and I am the owner of the Rock Exchange Resale Boutique. In addition to that, I have an organization called PG31. I'm a coordinator for the Arise and Gems program in Humboldt Park and in Little Village. Love that. We mentor young women. And I do speaking events, also host workshops, things along those lines. And I'm just a person.
Oh, okay.
She said, I'm just a person, a human being on
I'm Puerto
earth.
Rican and everything. That's it. We got a little mix here.
That's good. That's good. Now let's pass it over to the guest.
Yes, I guess I'm Nick Ramos. I own Chicago Theater Works, Wicker Park Bodega, Final Cuts Barbershop,
Look at that.
Oh,
Repping,
branded.
repping.
and also as of 2 weeks ago, closed on the Daily Grab and Go, which is it's located at 111 North Wabash. Getting all the licenses ready so we can open that up. Hopefully in the next month or so.
What's that?
It's gonna be
sandwich shop or
it's kind of exactly what it sounds like. The Daily Grab and Go is gonna be donuts, empanadas, coffee, juice, candy, beer, wine, just beer and wine,
Nice.
Oh,
little
wow.
charcuterie boards,
Ooh.
healthy snacks.
That's cool.
It's in the downtown office building,
Okay.
and there's a lot of foot traffic, so just the perfect way to just capitalize. Like 300 people walking daily.
nice.
There's no way they're not gonna buy something. We
Right.
gotta
Of
sell it.
course. And then you're rushing and you're like, let me
Yeah.
just grab something real quick. I haven't
That's
ate.
competition with Starbucks there.
Yeah, I'm coming because I know. I'll tell you this:
Starbucks, here you come.
the donuts that I use, they're being in the hotel industry for so many years. Like I met so
Yes.
many good bakers, so our donuts are gonna be very unique. Like
Ooh,
they're
like
gonna
specialty donuts.
definitely with
Ooh.
different vibes. So like they're not gonna be nothing you could get at Dunkin'
Oh,
or
nice.
or Stands or whatever.
You know who I really have you heard of the donut vault?
The
Yes,
donut
the donut
vault.
vault. Yes.
That's what it's
Fire.
What's this?
Fire. Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
this? Wait. What? You know I'm a fatty. So what are we talking
You know,
about
I'm
here?
thick, right?
Yeah.
So they actually had this van that would drive around an old school
Mhm.
van and sell donuts from the van. That's how I first heard about them.
Yeah.
And then I got into like printing, and so they were one of my clients.
Oh,
at
that's
one
pretty
time.
cool. Okay.
And so they have these specialty donuts, and they're like cake donuts.
Yeah, they're amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them better than Stan's.
Yeah,
I'm not
Stan's-
too crazy about
The pistachio though is for Stands.
Man, you know,
That pistachio.
wait,
is-
Pistachio.
I actually liked the donut that was with bacon at
Oh, the bacon.
Stan's.
That
Yeah.
is like a sweet and salty.
Yeah,
type
I
situation.
didn't think I was gonna like it because like, oh man, this is a heart attack waiting to happen.
Right.
But when
Bacon goes good in everything.
Yeah,
man,
for
Everything. You ever
I
had
want a
bacon
donut.
cookie ice cream?
Oh, wait,
No.
That's
Oh.
ultimate fatness at its best.
Wait, what
wait,
is it?
what?
It's a bacon
Bacon.
cookie. So wait, I'm sorry.
Wait.
Chocolate chip bacon cookies and ice cream.
That's
It's an ice cream?
That's,
Yeah.
Is it an ice
So
cream?
it's actually created by
Oh.
Charlie Trotter, chef, who used to have a Korean and Puerto Rican restaurant right there on
Wow.
Western. It was phenomenal. It used to be really good.
Is it still around?
Nah, it's not. He's got a couple other restaurants, but not that one. And that was one of the desserts there. And I was like, yo, this is
You
who will
should
eat
hit 'em up
this?
for
And
to
when
be a part
I
of the
tried it,
grab
I
and
was like,
go.
oh, hey now.
Why don't you offer it at your grab and
don't
go?
you do?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, we're not going there. I won't try to duplicate that. I feel like that's a certain clientele that I grabbed that. And I was that certain clientele, like low key. Like I don't know if anybody's gonna be like, let me get some bacon chocolate chip cookie
Right.
ice cream. Like,
I kind of want to
keep
try
saying it out loud. It's kind of like, damn.
That sounds
It
crazy.
sounds terrible.
But it's good. I'm not gonna lie. It's fire.
Oh.
Don't knock it until you try it.
Okay, awesome. So we have people jumping on. Make sure you guys say good morning if you guys are drinking
Yes.
coffee. So of course we got to go into our favorite coffee time. The whole point of this show is to chat up, meet entrepreneurs, have some inspirational conversation,
Yes.
and talk about what we're drinking with coffee.
Oh,
So
this?
we were blessed by Nick,
Nick,
and he purchased us some coffee. What is this,
Aged.
sir?
Well, it is barrel aged mocha from Dark Matters. Here we are. We're giving them free promotion, and they still haven't even given me a free coffee.
Oh,
all this-
we got to tag on.
Yeah,
we
we
gotta
tag
go
on. We're
next
gonna
door.
tag on.
Let them know.
Be like,
Give
we're
'em-
next
give 'em
door.
a-
Just
give 'em a hard time.
just paying the mortgage for you guys as much as I go there. But it's okay. No,
This
it's
is
actually
really
phenomenal
good.
coffee. Yeah, it's really
Oh,
good.
it is really good. What's the flavor of it again?
It's a barrel aged mocha.
So what? I wonder why is it barrel? Like
Barrel. So I'm assuming the beans are. I'm assuming the beans are roasted in a barrel, and then the mocha is the mocha. There you go. I just gave you all
you
the.
just gave me
yeah.
the
I,
whole.
wa- you know, I was like, I think I said, I
Yeah.
wonder if it's aged in like whiskey barrels.
It
Like,
does
that
have
one-
like if you
it
taste
does-
it, have a hint of
I'm,
like.
I'm not gonna lie. It's like
Yeah.
that. He just like spiked my kick.
Yeah.
I was like, this. It tastes like whiskey.
Because it has that like that taste. It's like
I'm not
yeah.
trying to diddy nobody. Low key, all right. So don't you start putting that out there.
When you said barrel aged, I was like, wow, but
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Just a fancy word for fucking chocolate. I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Oh
I don't
my
know if I can
goodness.
curse. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Let me say good.
Chocolate.
We have people
Mocha.
jumping on. Let me say good morning to these
Good
folks here.
morning,
We have
y'all.
Natasha.
Hey, Natasha.
She's a real estate investor. Good morning. We also have Angel Pais de Amor and also an investor. Good morning. I'm actually drinking coffee. It's cinnamon honey drizzle coffee with a cinnamon toast crunch creamer.
That
Wow,
sounds
that sounds
Ooh,
fancy.
Wow, that sounds
And-
one step away from Starbucks.
Yeah, and then we have Irina. She said, "I had cappuccino this morning.
Ooh.
Yum." So keep commenting, guys. So
Sound like a TikTok coffee.
Like all the ingredients.
yeah, that's no, for sure. So okay, Nick. So we're in this. We
Beautiful.
want to know your story.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're inspirational.
Mhm.
I mean, with everything that you're doing, where are we at right now? So people know what is this venue right here?
So this is Chicago Theater Works. Been open. Well, I purchased it last year in December. So it's a year. It's been a year now. It's basically. It was I think it's been open for the last 10 years, but it really wasn't recognized as as an event space, more of theater work and
Okay.
stuff like
Okay.
that. So the guy that used to own and build, he was big time on plays and stuff like that. So we still do that. Like we still trying to capitalize on the acting and the plays and all that. But mostly what we're known right now for is weddings, quinceañeras, and everything you can think of, any party you can think of, networking events,
Yep.
filming too. So we do whenever we had a Netflix show across the street, they were filming, and this became the set for them for like a whole week.
Oh wow.
So I just everything I can think of, from reality TV. We did Bridezilla or whatever. That was a nightmare. I learned that.
Literally, that wasn't even a pun.
Yeah,
that was
like,
just
I'm
him
not even
talking.
gonna lie to you. Like I signed up for that, and because I was like, oh, all money's good money in my mind. I just opened up. I didn't think, oh man, that was insane.
Why was it? Wait,
I had a lot of complaints from the neighbors. There was fights, and I thought it was scripted. First, I thought it was like scripted, and then I realized this is just real. People are just retarded sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm sorry, I can't say that.
I don't care.
But, hey. So we do everything you can think of, and we were recognized as one of the best event spaces in Chicago this year.
That's what's
Out
up.
of the top 22, we were number 11. So I was like, man, not too bad for my
your
first year. Yeah, and then I won the Wedding Wire. The Wedding Wire Award
what's
for
up.
best venue. Man, the knot. I've just been working.
Oh wow, the
Yeah.
knot
Man,
series.
that's awesome. This is
Yeah.
a great. It's a beautiful space.
Beautiful.
We've both been here for
Yes,
networking
networking
events.
events, yeah.
When you did the cross promote, Chicago
Yep.
cross promote, I've been here for
Which was
that,
nice, yeah.
which was nice. We'll be doing an event here,
Yeah.
so I'm
sure.
excited. We're doing a karaoke event here
April
on
3rd.
April 3rd, y'all. So April 3rd, we're gonna be using this space,
I'm gonna
and
come too.
yeah. So
We
the
have to be
first.
there.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. So the first two
Yes, sir.
hours. So for the first 2 hours, is the thing's not plugged in?
The battery.
No, is there power to that thing?
Oh, let's see.
Oh, look, here we go. We got technical difficulties, guys. Hold on, we're gonna keep talking. Can you plug it into the wall, the orange one? Thank you. So yeah, we'll be having an event here while Delilah's making sure that's plugged in. Don't mind. But look, this is part of how shows go, right? So we all thank you. Now it's working.
Got the
So
juice.
yeah, we gotta make sure this doesn't die, because then y'all can't have a show. But so what I love also about you is you're from Chicago,
Yeah.
born and raised.
Born,
No?
born in Puerto Rico.
Born in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
but raised in
Raised in
Chicago.
Part of
Chicago,
Puerto
yeah.
Rico.
Okay,
I was born in Arecibo.
Oh, that's where
Arecibo.
my family's from.
Oh, yeah?
Arecibo and
y'all probably cousins.
Taiwan.
Well, we
Maybe.
probably are
Who
cousins.
knows?
Yeah.
Some people grapevine somewhere.
Well, in those towns, right? When they're small towns, usually it's like generations back.
That's-
People.
Yeah, you would think that, but
Yeah.
man, it's as small as
big.
Puerto Rico is. It's crazy how it's not like that. I thought the
Really?
same
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
too. Like I was,
I just assume anyone in my
Like
town in
Pueblos.
Mexico were related. Like we gotta be
Yeah.
related like 5 generations back. That's all I'm saying. At some point.
At some point.
Because it will. I'm gonna go morbid. No, it's gonna go dark. I don't want to talk
Okay,
about.
yeah.
Jesus.
So Chicago works.
Chicago works.
Yeah.
Chicago works. So you grew up in
Yep.
Chicago.
What part of Chicago?
So I got here in 1990. I
Oh,
think
wow.
so.
No.
So
Like,
you're a little guy.
yeah, I was 8 years old.
Yeah, okay.
So damn, I'm old. I just got that. I was Bucktown. So Bucktown, but it was
nice.
funny because Bucktown, it wasn't as nice as houses were
What's a Bucktown?
$90,000.
Bucktown that time.
At
No.
the time, $90,000. That same house that was $90,000 was worth like $950,000. If I'm
I was
correct.
gonna
I looked it
say,
up. I looked it up because
yeah.
I was like, damn, I would have bought that when I was 8.
But houses in Humble Park, right?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
it's-
god.
That
it's
was the hood
crazy.
at one time.
Oh yeah, no, Bucktown was crazy.
Yeah.
There was action. I mean, I knew that they called it Bucktown for a reason because when I was like my first walk to the school, I was like, what is going
I
on?
didn't think about that.
Yeah,
I did
like,
not think about that for a
Dude
second.
pulled out in a car, started whooping another guy, and I'm like, all right, welcome to Chicago.
There's a
Yeah.
reason why it's called Bucktown.
Yeah.
No, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, it was before the gentrification happened. It was, ran by the Spanish community,
At its finest.
At
At
its
its finest,
finest. Yes.
and then from there to Wicker Park. So there from Humboldt Park. So I just took out in that area
Wow.
in the beginning of my young.
Been young
Life,
life. Yeah. So you also went to Clemente High School.
Went to Clemente High School.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
And
heard
I
you-
graduated, guys.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
look at
The
that.
statistics were low back then, so that's a proud
But
moment.
think
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that. You came out of the hood,
For sure, yeah.
came out of Clemente.
Yeah.
In the year you went to Clemente,
It was real.
it was like people were throwing each other off elevators
that's
and
a
or
real- that-
escalators.
You know what's funny? That is not a
in a
rumor. That is
school.
actually true. That
I believe
happened.
it.
That happened. That's the story that everybody remembers from Clemente, or the girl, her hair getting stuck in the escalators and ripping
Yeah,
her
I've
hair.
heard that story too.
Yeah, those are all true stories.
So when I was in work at the beach, I was at
Like a lifeguard. or
At
something?
Humboldt?
at Humboldt.
Oh, you
yeah,
worked
yeah.
at Mahone Beach?
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I
Yeah,
was
you can say it. Yeah, that's probably why you probably could have cold 10 times and you'll be fine if you drink that water. I always said that if you drink Home Park water from the lagoon, COVID could do nothing to you. All right, that's a true fact. I know
did
a lot of
work-
survivors.
I worked. Oh heck no! I was a lifeguard there. I was a
The what?
lifeguard.
Oh man,
They had
she said
boats.
in the water. Where else? Where else?
People swam.
dead bodies in there.
They were, well, time out. The dead bodies were on the other side of the
Other side, yeah,
lagoon.
on the lake.
They were in the lagoon side.
You're swimming with little maggots.
There were. They
Yeah.
used to be dragonflies.
Oh, man.
So,
I got in that water too. I'm not gonna lie. Like that water was.
Come out with a rash?
no, bro, no. So okay, so the year that I worked there, they just did construction. So they just cleaned all that out,
Took all the bodies away.
and they took all the dead bodies out,
Yeah.
and then they refilled it with nice water. So I remember those first couple years. It was fresh. It was good.
That water was so warm. I was wondering why it was so warm. I was like, then I knew why, and I was like, oh, okay. This makes sense. Like,
but they needed lifeguards because there was kids in there. People swam in there, and I remember I'm tall, so the water came to like my neck or so little kids can still drown. So you needed lifeguards, right?
Kids did drown in that.
Probably, I'm pretty sure. But besides the homeless population that we were dealing with, gangbangers and the kids of the neighborhood, I worked there, and I would hear all the stories because a lot of the lifeguards were from Clemente, and they would tell me, I don't want to go to your school. I thought Roosevelt was rough, like y'all a little bit worse than where I'm from,
It was crazy.
I've never even heard of an escalator in a high school.
Yeah, they have escalators.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know what? But I gotta say, some of the best teachers that I ever, shout out to all the public teachers, public school teachers.
Man.
Like that's the hardest job I feel like that's one of the hardest jobs to inspire and motivate kids, especially when, I was from the streets. I wasn't a good kid, I was lucky enough to have great teachers like Miss Johnson, Miss Isaac, Miss Soli. I had a bunch of dope teachers that kind of guided me, when I was in trouble and try to help me get out of school so I think my senior year, I had to go to school from 8 a.m. all the way to 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So I can make up all the credits that I missed out from freshman, sophomore, junior year, so I can graduate on time. So they actually cared. And, I wanted to drop out. I was like, man, I don't want to go to school that long. I barely want to go for 6 hours. You think I want to go for 12 hours? Yeah. But man, I did it. And, it was a blessing. So I'm glad I did.
So what advice would you give a high school kid now? Like you had all these teachers set an example to you, right? So what advice would you give, I don't know,
to your younger self?
Yeah, to your younger self, to a 16-year-old Nick.
It's a 16-year-old Nick was bad. Like he wouldn't listen. But I honestly, the best thing that I would say is just stay there, stay focused one day at a time, because you don't think about the future. You think short term. At that moment, you're like, man, I want to work and make $6 an hour and get a check. And you know, all that. When you're a kid, you're like, you're happy with that. You don't realize that most jobs you have to check if you actually have a high school diploma, or even for like any job. Like it's crazy. You need a GED or a high school diploma. Now most places want associates or a bachelor's. You know what I mean? Depending on what you do. So it's the best advice is just take it one day at a time and do whatever it takes. I always say college is not for everybody. I'm not gonna say here and say, but high school, you need high school. You need to get through high school, because that just shows you that you can accomplish something, that you can finish one thing, and that's really what college is too, right? Like most people, being in the hospitality business, I got master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and they come in and they have no idea what they're doing, and I'm like, man, you know what? You just spent $100,000 or whatever on a hospitality degree, but guess that you didn't spend that money. You use that money so you can show that employer that you can commit to something and actually get the job done. Yeah. And then once you get your job, then you learn how to do the actual job, which is crazy if you think about it. You're like, wait a minute, I have to go spend $200,000, $100,000 in education so I can go work and make maybe 50, 60,000 starting, depending what career you pick, right? Yeah. Then have to pay all that money back. While learning how to do the job that I went to school for. It's a little crazy, right?
Well, and one thing I think, if you choose to be a CPS teacher, you are definitely a different type of person.
Facts.
Honestly, if you think about it, because honestly, I agree with what you said. Like, I think my CPS teachers were the ones that motivated me to even go to college, right? Exactly. My parents weren't like, oh yeah, go to college, mija. They weren't telling me that. They didn't think about that. They were like, work. What you talking about?
You're in school for you. If you do not succeed at this is on you.
Yeah,
in other words, that's
on you.
Just straight up.
So CPS teachers are the ones that are pushing kids, especially in inner cities, to move forward. So I definitely commend you. So now that you finished school, how did you get into now? You have all these businesses. You're an investor as well. Yeah. So like, what got you kind of said it earlier offline, but what got you going into like full-blown entrepreneurship?
So, after high school, I actually went to college. I actually went to let me say this again. I tried to go to college. I dropped out like 34 times. And then finally I said, you know what, I'm done. Right. I got lucky enough to find this amazing job in the hotel industry when I was 21 years old.
Nice.
It was, $12 an hour. It wasn't nothing magnificent, right? But it was something, right? It was like, all right, this is, it was a working in finance at the Hilton. And from there, I kept getting promoted, and finally I became a manager, then after manager, a director.
Oh wow.
And as I speak, I still work for Hilton. I'm actually, my last day is April 4th.
You still work for Hilton?
Mhm.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know, right? That's crazy, right?
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
you will like work from home in a sense.
So I made a deal with them like the last couple of months, because I was going to quit December 27th, but
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay.
a very important to the operation, right? Because I do a lot. So
Sure.
they were willing to work with me. So I was working 4 days a week,
Oh, wow.
pretty much working
Wow,
with.
that's just
Remote.
powerful.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. No, I mean, and anybody that knows the hotel industry is not that flexible. Like, but with I got lucky. I got good people around me that know what I bring to the table. So with that being said, April 4th was my last day, so I can focus on all my businesses, because right now everything is just happening at the same time. So I have to
Yeah.
make sure that I pay full attention to it. So I pretty much, I guess backtracking, right, is I got into the business world. A lot has to do with working in the hotel industry. I learned a lot about actual business because I was managing hotels, 40 million, 38 million. Like you start learning numbers, you have to.
Right.
So I was the food and beverage director. My job was to control payroll, to control finances, to control labor, everything you can think of. And it kind of teaches you a mindset like, wait a minute, if I'm doing this for a Hilton Hotels, I can do this for myself.
Yeah.
And that right there was like a
Eye-opener.
light bulb. Like I need to open my own business, and that's what I did. I opened my own
Wow.
business. And Final Cuts was actually my first business that I purchased. I purchased this business right when COVID happened, which the barbershop was closed. We didn't even know if barbershop was going to reopen,
Yeah.
but I took a chance and it worked out greatly for me. I got 16 barbers in there.
Wow.
We do a lot for the community. The barbershop itself, besides mentoring kids, we got kids that come to our shop just to hang out, and
Oh, that's
we mentor them. They all the barbers are like family. Everybody loves each other there. Like it's one of those places that you enjoy. You know what I mean? Like you go
Yeah.
in there, even the customers. We got customers that are 91 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
And you said you have a nail tech in there too.
yeah, I do have a nail tech. Her name is Allison. She caters to women and men.
Wow.
So you need nails, she's
She's
downstairs.
there too.
Yep, she's
So,
there.
so you would say that your education came from the Hilton in a sense, right?
I
Because
will 100% say that because I went to
awesome.
school for criminal justice
Okay.
and it didn't work out because I was a criminal.
Okay.
So it just was not going well for me.
I feel like most guys that go to school for criminal justice
We're
are
criminals.
they're
Yeah,
criminals.
yeah. I know. A
But
lot
you
of them are
wanna-
cops now.
A lot of them
Yeah.
are. Oh,
Good friends of mine. Yeah, they're good friends.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good,
true.
that's good.
Yeah.
keep going.
No.
I'm like, keep going. I was trying to like.
Yeah. So I mean, what was the question again? My brain just fried.
So the Hilton was your
Oh yeah, so
education.
yeah, the
so
Hilton.
They taught you.
They didn't know they were teaching me.
Yeah.
They didn't know they were teaching me, but I did. I learned a lot from a lot of great people.
So how did you balance the two, right? Running a business, working from home.
Yeah.
And where's your boss?
I wasn't working from home. I was actually going in.
And so
Yeah.
were they flexible with you? Did
Yeah,
they
I would
you
come in. Yeah, everybody
as long
knows.
as you got your work done.
I mean,
In other
you know what I'm
words.
saying? Like it was like whatever. Let's Nick. Like I always joke around. I always say, listen, I'm here to make people laugh and make sure you guys have a good time, and then I leave. Okay,
There you
that's
go.
my job.
There you go.
I'm
That's what you got paid
I'm
for.
that employer. I'm not that guy. Like, hey man,
Entertainment,
Nick,
make this
Nick
go
not here.
easy.
Oh man, you know what? The
Yeah.
day's gonna suck today. That's kind of how it went.
But I think jobs that have people that have that type of personality
want that.
benefit
Yeah.
because you bring
Yes.
like a culture, you bring a good
Exactly.
vibe, because you want people to like uplift the rest of
Yeah,
the
for
employees,
sure.
right? So you're doing the Hilton, you
Mhm.
opened up your first business, which is the barbershop, which you do things for the community.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what inspired you, like, oh, if I could do this for the Hilton, I could do this for
Yeah.
Myself.
myself.
Well, yeah, and I actually started with real estate first before
Okay.
the barbershop, and I bought my first property when I was 30, which was like 12
wow.
years ago, and then I kind of started doing that. I got 12 doors. I don't, you know what I mean? It's just something that I stopped because I don't have a management company, and I was doing it myself, and I was
It's
like,
a lot of work, yeah.
it's a
Knocking
lot.
on a lot of doors.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I kind of just said, okay, this is cool, but I need something else. And the barbershop was kind of like the first business I took over. And
Nice.
then I opened up Wicker Park Bodega, which we're opening back up in May, guys.
Look at
Just
that. Congratulations.
Yeah,
well, let
yeah,
us
we've
know
been
if you're going to do
yeah,
like
we're gonna
grand
have to do a
opening.
grand reopening because it's like
Yeah.
literally been closed since last May, and
Okay.
I
Really?
won't share too much of the story, but put it like this: gentrification tried to take us down, and we succeeded.
reversing
The Latinos has
Here we go.
won, and we got a 10-year lease.
Yes.
So we stuck there for another 10 years, which is amazing. And I look forward to bringing. That's another avenue. Like we did that short time that we were there, that 1 year, we did so much for the neighborhood. Like our spot was the hangout spot. Like
Oh,
we
that's
were
awesome.
we would have tastings with different wines. Like there's not too many liquor stores that do that besides Vinny's because they got millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
But like a mom and pop store to do tasting of products. I had these snickerdoodle ice cream bars that people were going crazy for.
Wow.
Exotic snacks before they became so popular. I was getting them from China when
Wow.
people couldn't even get these snacks. So
Wow.
we had a lot of cool stuff there. Empanadas that shout out to Nopi, my guy Nopi. He makes some of the best empanadas. We had empanadas and we were selling out of empanadas by like 12 o'clock. They were gone.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were doing
Wow.
really well. And then, it so happens that we had a little issue with owner. And then, now all is fixed and we open our doors in May again. So
Where's that location at?
2157 West North Avenue. It's right there on Levitt and North Avenue.
I love how you have the bodega in there.
Yeah,
just
I
let
had
them
to.
know. There's some
Yeah, so
Latinas in there.
You know what funny part is? People got like in their feelings about it. Oh, like this ain't New York, but bro,
That's okay.
if you're from Puerto Rico,
You just
that's
it's the
how
bodega.
that's what we call it, a bodega.
Yeah,
It's not a
bodega.
New York thing. People think it's a New York thing.
It's
No,
not.
it's not. It's like when growing up, when I was like, I'm going to the store, I'm going to the
With the
bodega.
bodega.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
I
And
love that.
and then but again, we are excited to be back. So we'll see.
That's exciting. So it sounds like you. I was gonna say the ADHD
Yeah.
brain gets you going into different businesses because
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
okay, I'm tired of this one. Let me open up another one.
It's yeah.
I think that's one of our superpowers because we get bored and like, let's do.
It's serial entrepreneurship. That's what I'm a serial entrepreneur. That's what I call it. I honestly didn't even know that was a thing, but I think I am. Like
Absolutely. You
as
got-
soon as I get 1 year in and I see it do good, I mean, I'm not opening business if I'm not doing good, right?
Of course.
I never
Just test
wait
and
for
trial.
I never wait for the money to make the money. I go and go make it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
that's what you got to do. So
That's
Yeah.
that Mamba. What is it? Mamba
Mamba Mentality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mamba- Oh, so
Mentality.
that's from the basketball
Yeah.
player,
Yeah,
right?
from
So
Kobe, yeah.
Kobe.
Kobe.
So
Yeah.
so what is that for those that are watching that don't know what the Mamba mentality is?
well, I mean, to me, the Mamba mentality, everybody's version is different, right?
Yeah, that's true.
For me personally, is like I used to be complacent, like just being okay, right? Like
Yeah.
and some people are still like that's okay, right? Like I was cool living check to check. I was cool taking one trip a year, 2 trips a year. I was cool with that. And eventually one day I just wasn't no more. And that was kind of like what triggered it, right? Like I want a better life for myself, and I don't want to work this hard to just take one vacation or
Right.
work this hard to take to be broke by the time my next check comes. I just hate that feeling, and
Yeah.
that kind of pushed me to be better. Like I got to figure out a way to make extra income,
Yeah.
and by that you can't be lazy, you got to hustle.
Yeah.
So whatever way I used to be, I used to work. I always had a job and I always had a side gig. Somewhere
good.
somewhere legal, somewhere illegal. But at the time, I grew out of all that stupid stuff. I was like, all right, I only got the legal way now. So
Yeah.
let's figure out how to make money legally and make it right. And so I can save up enough to invest into something.
And
And
to do better for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Better.
people don't have that option.
exactly.
So you made best with you and you grew from that because you're like, you know what? I learned from the streets,
Mhm.
right? And I bettered myself to become something.
I think that's
you know
the
what I mean?
best.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I think those are probably the best entrepreneurs because you're
Yes.
street smart and you're business smart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think like sometimes when you don't have those street smarts, people take advantage of you,
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
you just gotta show them like
Yeah.
where you come from.
Yeah.
It's like oh,
Hello,
Yeah.
hood.
let's
Facts.
go. Let's
Let me
go.
just whip out my card.
Yeah.
No, that's a true statement. I mean, I think when prime example, like when the bodega thing happened, and most people, like a normal person, would have fell
Given
on
up.
their face.
Yeah.
They would have lost all their, they would have lost the business. But not me. I was actually lucky enough to understand how things operate, and I have a lot of friends and a lot of good people that I got good lawyers.
Mhm.
Shout out to my lawyers, man. I got.
Shout out to the
Shout out to the lawyers. You guys always do a great
I
job.
always gotta have a Jewish lawyer, just in case you guys didn't know. Those are the best lawyers. Shout out to Ian.
There you
my
go.
boy. And yeah, and and I actually, if I did not, if I would have just rolled over to Las Wicker Park Bodega, but I didn't, and we fought for it, and now we got what we deserve, which
That's
is
endurance and perseverance,
yeah,
right?
Great,
It's like
for
saying,
sure.
"Hey, we're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay in our
yeah,
community.
we will not leave.
Yeah, we're not gonna leave, and that's beautiful."
That store is owned by a Puerto Rican guy for 40 years. I used to go to that store when I was a kid because I
And
lived
was
on
it
the
called the
street.
Wicker Park Bodega
Nah,
at the time?
it was called oh my god, what was it called?
But you remember him being Latino?
Yeah, and I
Puerto
remember
Rican,
that. Yeah, I
working
remember 'cause I
hard.
used to go, get stuff from there. Man, I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it was just a Spanish food mart. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he unfortunately he was sick, and he wanted to get rid of it before he passed away, and we were lucky enough to get it.
That's wonderful.
That's actually pretty cool. Like you grew up in the neighborhood, you were a kid
Yeah.
going into that store, and then you're like, you know what? Let me just buy this store.
You know what's crazy? So this is it's so crazy how this like I swear this is so weird, and you just made me remember. So this venue that we're sitting here, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even know this, but I used to be a promoter. I used to promote and do
Yes.
parties and
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yes.
I did a party here. It was a Halloween party with my boy Mike, and it was called Kuna Lounge.
I've heard.
Kuna
Yeah, I
Lounge.
think I remember
Yeah.
that name.
So one time I was throwing a party here. This is like when I took over the business, and this girl comes up to me. She's like, "Damn, nigga, I can't believe you bought the place you used to throw parties at." I said, "Huh?" She's like, "You threw a party here before?" I said, "I never threw a party. I've never been here in my life until I bought it." And she's like, "Nick, this used to be Kuna Lounge." I said, "No, it fucking wasn't." And then I was like, Google. I'm like, "Holy mo!" It was. So I bought
A place you promoted.
that I used to. So it's crazy, right? Like that to me blew me away. Like that was insane. Same thing with the Wicker Park Bodega. I used to go there to get Chico sticks and chips when I was a shorty.
Yeah.
And then the coffee shop, the Daily Grab and Go that I
Yeah.
just purchased, that was where I went to take my drug test to get the job for Hilton.
Get out of
I can't
here.
even make this up. Like when I tell you,
That
like
is
everything is just
great. It all
connected.
align- I feel like things always come around full circle.
That and it blew my mind, right?
Wow.
Because and that building, it's the Garland building, 111 North Wabash,
Yeah.
right? So I remember going there, right, to take that drug test, and I remember walking through that little store, seeing that little store, right? And literally not, I wanted a water, but I only had money to get on the train and go back home. And I walked by it, and now I'm gonna own that store.
Look at that.
So that to me is
beautiful.
powerful. Like to
That's
me,
beautiful.
I had a little moment outside when I, like when I figured it out, I was like, whoa, this is the place where I came. You know what I mean? So, I'm just trying to buy everything that that I went to. when I was little.
Would you say you have 3 beautiful children?
Mhm.
We saw the 2 girls
Yeah.
and your son, his little mini me.
Yeah.
Would you say that was also the drive behind you wanting to own property, businesses? Would you say that really?
Yeah,
hit
of
something
course.
into gear?
I mean, I definitely, I said this earlier, right? What I said,
Yeah.
I said, white people leave wills, Spanish people leave bills, and I don't want to leave bills for my
Didn't wanna
kids,
leave
man.
bills.
Yeah, but I honestly, you can always be better, right? Like, I mean, of course, your kids, they're always going to be your motivation. Like you live for them, but reality is, if you can't use somebody else to push you, you got to push yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like that, to me, that's like the number one thing, and I think that's more of the mama mentality, right?
Yeah.
Trying to be better than I was yesterday. What can I do different? All right, so like even if it means just doing something, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna check on this business today. Oh, here, I'm gonna shoot this email to try to get in contact with this person, network with this person. Those little things, it's so easy to just be like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's so easy to just push it off or brush it off or push it to somebody else. Can you handle this for me? Sometimes you got to
Yeah.
do stuff your own, because
Yeah.
when you're manifesting something, like you can push it better when you're doing it yourself instead of sending
So
somebody else to
true.
do it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's so true. And I think there's power behind black and brown or minorities having money because you can keep communities, right? You can still do
Together.
things for your
Yeah.
people. You can always go back. Like that's why I'm like, no, I'm doing this. Like I know when I'm doing what I'm doing and getting businesses and dealing with all this money, it's like I'm doing this for the people behind me.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's an inspiration. Like with the Rock Exchange, we do like next month we're doing a prom dress giveaway. Last
Oh,
year
dope.
we partnered up with another organization. We gave away 80 prom dresses.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't just giving away those prom dresses. We brought like a throne chair in there, and we got one of Gracie from Beauty Bras. She wanted to do free eyebrow waxing so they can shop with dignity.
That's
So
awesome.
like, so it's like when you get back to the community,
Mhm.
you feel better. And then these girls walking out with smiles, you're like, man, this is why I
Change your
enjoy
life.
their whole life. So
Yeah.
one day when they grow up, they're like, I remember this one store
Mhm.
who gave me my prom dress for free.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they did it nice. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that it's that inspiration. So one day when they have their business or when they're doing something great, they're going to remember how people gave back to their community.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And so when
Yeah.
you like when you mentioned mentoring at Final Cuts,
Yep.
there may be that little boy that came in for his haircut and seen this family
Mhm.
that come in. And one day that he may want to become a barber and see you.
We have
like,
that.
Yeah, see,
We
okay,
have
so
that
tell
happening
me
right
about
now.
it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, why do we do, not me, illegal things, right? Because that's the only example that you know of how to make money in those neighborhoods,
Yeah.
right? But then that you could do that with legal stuff. People
Yeah.
just don't know how
There's
to
no
take those
examples
skills.
usually.
There's no examples though.
It's so
Right.
easy, right? Like, you know, I mean, it's so easy to just do bad stuff because, and when I say bad stuff, I mean like get in that role
Yeah.
because of what you grew up around and what you saw and
Your
you saw.
examples
But the
before you.
problem is, like for me, a lot of my friends were in jail growing up. Like some of them are coming home right now. Like one of my good
Wow.
friends, he's been in jail since my wedding. He's been in there 12 and a half years.
Wow.
Wow.
And he was one of my best men at my wedding. And unfortunately, a couple of my other friends, they just came home. So I with different guys, you know what I mean? But first thing I do is make sure they're okay. I can, as far as guiding
Finding a
them
job
and,
or-
or connecting them because these are all good people. They just made
Right.
bad decisions
Yeah.
and they pay the price for it.
Yeah.
I mean, being in jail is not easy. So, you
Yeah.
imagine losing that many years of your life and then coming home to, nothing because
Nothing.
everything you pretty much work for is gone because it's illegal. And,
And then you got this technology because they
they
12
missed
years.
out.
Yeah.
Missed out on a lot. Yeah.
12 years is a long. You're coming into like what's the movie with Martin Lawrence where they come out and it's like a whole
Lifetime.
different
I think it's
Yeah,
called
Life,
Lifetime.
right?
Yeah, life.
life, right? Like they
Yeah.
went in the 20s and when they came out, they were
It's an
like
old man.
80, and then
Yeah.
it was just like life was different because it was like the 70s, right? Can you imagine just 10 years how
Yeah,
fast we
it
move,
is,
right?
man.
We
It's
move.
crazy. Life is crazy. So.
Yeah, technology 10 years ago was totally different. But so going back to the Mamba mentality,
Mhm.
the black Mamba is
It's
a snake.
Yep. It's a
Right, so it's a fast snake too. It's
Mhm.
not just any snake. It's
Yep.
supposed to be like the most venomous
Yep,
snake
lethal,
and the
yeah,
fastest,
yeah.
lethal, right? So then that mentality of like, how do you put that into your entrepreneurship life? How do you take that and apply it into your entrepreneurship life?
So when I do anything, right, I want to outwork the competition, and by that I mean find ways to because again, just like barbershop, there's 1,000 barbershop. What makes your barbershop different, right?
That's a great question.
And
Yeah.
reality is maybe my staff, maybe the way I do things. You really don't know. The reality is that I'm gonna make sure that I don't stop pushing it, promoting it, advertising for it, doing pop-ups with a lot of small businesses. I do a lot of pop-ups with small businesses, especially that kind of started with COVID happened, and kind of letting them sell their product. I don't
Like
charge.
vendors.
I don't charge the vendors. They come in for free, and the foot traffic is insane because usually we do the pop-ups like on Fridays and Saturdays. So they're again giving back to the community, but at the same time using that as a tool like, hey, there's people that are coming to purchase food from this vendor that's never seen our barbershop. Let's give them a free haircut, show them what we got. And my barbers, they're all for it, right? Because you know how many free haircuts I've given and those clients became lifetime clients.
Wow.
Sometimes a free haircut is worth more than any promotion or anything. It's sometimes you give a free haircut and they never come back because some people are just they got a barber they've been going to for years. It doesn't matter. My whole thing is that's the way I operate, right? I make sure that whatever I'm doing, I give it 100%, and I try every angle, not just the ones that seem like normal. All right, maybe if I do this, no, you got to just go from every direction and just try to figure out how to pop out from everybody else.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
you know what? And there's like for me, like my foundation is like God, right? So there's this one scripture when it says, "You give, and it shall come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." So you mentioned you give, but
Yeah.
the way it comes back, it's going to be overflowing.
Yeah.
And so I'm a big believer that when you give, it just comes back to you, and you don't give just because I'm going to get back. You
Yeah.
just give just from a pure
Just
heart.
to
And
give.
it always
Absolutely.
comes back one way or
Yeah.
another.
I do. I try to, man.
That's
And I
amazing.
think that's like right now, that's my like you would have asked me a couple years ago, what makes you happy? Oh, like my first answer would have been like, I just want to have money. I just want to be.
Mhm.
That's not it no more. It's changed so dramatically. Like my
What
biggest
shifted? What happened?
I think as you get older, I mean, I guess this is what they say: as you get older, you get wiser, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've learned important things in life, or your health, first of all, right? Being healthy and making sure that you're around long enough to show your kids the right and wrong, and just being there for my kids, and just
Yeah.
make sure they have good experiences, and just from even playing, playing with your kids, you know what I mean? It's so there's so many things you take for granted because you think you have time,
And you
and you don't, man. My daughter is 8 years old, right? And in the last 8 years I've been building this, and I spend a lot of time with her. I make sure I do, but there's times where I feel guilty. Sometimes I'll rush and leave. Like if I have an event, like yesterday I had a comedy show here,
I wish
and
I would have known. I love
yeah,
comedy
no, it was
shows.
great. It was a great comedy show,
Yeah.
and I was with her all day Sunday morning, but she was snuggling with me. We were watching TV, and I said, "All right, baby, I gotta go." She's like, "Don't leave," and I felt bad. I was like, "Oh man, I feel bad because I don't want to leave, but I had to because it's comedy show, and I wanted to be here for it, and." But the comedy show wasn't even over, and I know she was going to bed early, so I said, I'm gonna cut out of here. I left my guy in charge, and I got there just on time to play one game of Uno with her before she went to bed,
Oh,
and she
see?
was so happy, made her day, and those are the things that I care and
Matter
value
most.
for, like that, and helping, and then helping others, like helping others be great,
Oh,
being
that's so
successful, like no gatekeeping here, like trying to help
That's
as
amazing.
many people as I
Oh, I
can. You know
love
what I
that.
mean? Like
I love
that's
that.
important. I feel like so many people are so afraid of somebody being better than them. I
so
hope you're
crazy.
better than me, because if you
Yes.
are, you're gonna guide me and you're gonna
That's
take me
what's
to
up.
that next level. That's how
Yes.
I look at things. I look at it like, if you could do this better than me, man, go for it, because I want to learn from you. Then
I'm the same
And
way.
that like when you help someone else be better, it only makes you better.
And they'll
Facts.
never
They'll
forget.
never forget it. They'll always be like,
Never.
"Man, I remember when Nick, woo, woo, woo,
Yeah.
he did this for me and did
Yes.
that for me," right? You do something else that I think is amazing that we were talking about. It's the men's group here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta talk
that.
about the mental health stuff, please.
That's so
Yes.
Yeah. So with the mental health, I mean, me personally, it's something that I wanted to do for a while. Growing up, as a man, like we go through so much, right? And so much pressure on a man, to be successful, to be a leader, to
Yes.
to not cry, to be strong all the time. And we get burned out, man. You women, you have the luxury that most women speak freely, and they share their feelings easily,
Right.
especially cancer women. Yeah. But
I was like, wait, what?
women who have
I got it.
like,
I got it.
yeah, I like to share feelings a lot. But like reality was, I lost a good friend of mine that we grew up together, and I lost him to suicide
Wow.
like
Oh,
about
wow.
2 months ago, and
I'm so sorry.
and that was like the push I needed. Unfortunately, I saw him struggling. He actually was one of my good friends, and I got him a job about 12 years ago at the hotel. He was one of my chefs,
Oh.
and he man, he was struggling, and he would call me in the middle of the night, and I would guide him, as much as I could. We even, you know, took him to the hospital so he
Help
can
him with
get
mental
extra
health,
help,
yeah.
and it just everything seemed fine. The last time I spoke to him was January 23rd, and he's like, "Hey, I have a new renter coming. Can you write a lease for me? Because I don't know how to do one." And I was like, "Yeah, no worries. Everything else good." He said, "Everything's good. All right, I'm gonna send me the info. I'll put the lease for you. Love you, brother. I'll talk to you soon." I get a call like 2 weeks later. My friend sends me actually a text message. Like, I wake up at 3 in the morning, and he told me he passed away, and it was painful for me because I knew it was gonna happen one day. You know what I mean? And when it happened, it really made me like realize I lost about 5 to 6 friends to suicide in the last 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And that to me is not acceptable. And
It's not.
you see it all the time on TV but you don't really think it could happen to nobody close to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's happened too many times. So what I did is I put this group together with my buddy Omar, and I said, "Hey, we need to create something for men. I have this venue here. I mean, what's so hard about trying to get some guys in here and just talking about our feelings and making sure that everybody's on the same page. And so who's going through what? How can we help somebody?" And we did, and we partnered up. People started, like, when I shared it, people were like, "Whoa, this is powerful. This is amazing." So I got donations for food from Yari, Casa de Yari. She donated sancocho and rice for the event. Borinquen Lounge, they donated frituras. The Hilton donated cookies and desserts. And I reached out to this guy named Chris who owns
Coffee, hip hop, and
Coffee
mental
and
health.
Mental
I was
Health.
just gonna tell you,
Yeah,
the circle. I
yeah.
love that place.
So he's amazing.
He's right
First,
down the street.
yeah, he's down the street from here. Shout out to Chris, my
Yeah,
guy.
he's so great.
He's amazing. He's and I reached out to him first. It was kind of like he wasn't, it was funny because in the
He's like,
beginning,
"Can I trust you?"
well,
Type thing,
yeah,
right?
well, it was like he was thinking like, okay, maybe he wasn't even gonna reach out to me. Actually, he told me, we talked. He's like, man, I'm glad I did though. He's like, because I love the way you're doing things, and I said, listen, I would love for you to be part of it. You know what I mean? And he's kind of the leader of the pack. I'm more of the guy putting it together, facilitating,
The
but
behind the scenes.
but he's amazing at
Yes.
getting these guys to open up and
He brings therapists. In
yeah,
too.
mental health
Yeah.
therapists and I'm gonna tell you something. The guys that walk into this event, I mean, it's so powerful because, like, prime example, the last week event we had, there was a gentleman. You could see the pain.
Wow.
You can see his pain, and it's rare that you can see pain. But I just saw, and he was asking all the right questions. And then at the end, I pulled him to the side. I said, "Hey, man, I'm glad you came. How'd you hear about this?" And he's like, one of my pastors told me about it."
Oh,
And he's like,
wow.
"Man, thank you for doing this. I need this." And he like broke down, like he started crying. And I was like, "Man, this is what I'm talking about. Where it's tough because, I'm not a professional, right? All I can do is kind of hold the space and kind of help everybody and hopefully between all of us here kind of lead the way and help each other out as easy as we can, and the good part is we share some good information with some of those guys that if they need something more solid, there's places and there's people that you could talk to on the phone. But that's something that I'm passionate about,
That's
something
amazing.
that I want to do monthly, and eventually if it gets to the point where I need to do it every week, I will.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
And so how can they so if there's a young man out there or a man
Mhm.
who's looking for this type of information, where can they find this information and when
Yeah.
is it held?
So I will say DM me at Chicago Theater Works
Okay.
on Instagram, or follow me on Nick Ramos on Facebook, or Nicky Nitro 1982 on Instagram. Like, you can reach out to me, but what I do is I share the flyer and I post it, and
That's
then
amazing.
everybody else just kind of does their
And
thing.
it's for men specifically.
Yeah,
correct?
just men,
Okay,
you know what I
that's
mean?
perfect. Because
It's-
I feel like they need that space. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of, and it's Chris Lamarck.
Yeah.
The one it's Chris Lamarck. So I actually volunteered with him a couple years ago. He
So-
does every Christmas.
Yeah.
He gives out Christmas gifts, and he has
Mhm.
volunteers wrapping gifts, and
Yep.
you drop them off at their houses. It's beautiful.
He's
It's
amazing. He does a lot.
And,
Yeah.
I think with what you're doing, one thing that I've noticed, because I used to run support groups, so I still do support groups for women, but not call them support groups, is the fact that it's a safe space, and sometimes people don't like to go to churches.
That's true.
So,
Yeah.
because a lot of the women that I serve are professional women or educated women.
Right.
And when you be like, oh, let's do something at church, they're like,
And
no,
that's
I'm
kind
good.
of what I didn't want, right? As much as I got church brothers that come to this event,
Yeah.
that are amazing, and I'm all for them speaking as long as they keep it very, like,
Professional.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not everybody wants to do that, and I
Right.
feel like there's a time and place for that.
Yeah.
But these are good people that, that I feel free. I give them the power to, like, hey, man, you share some great words. They're good people to
Yeah.
learn from.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
it's still good. It's still good stuff. So what you're doing is you're providing the space, which is
Yep.
great. So Chicago Theater Works on Instagram. They can reach out to you if they want to learn more about
The men's
coming to the
circle.
men's
Let's
Yes.
start
circle.
the men's circle.
Yeah,
right?
the
It's
men's
like a
circle.
Men's
It
circle.
is. It's it's something that, again, we're trying right now. The next one will be April 1st,
Oh, wow.
which will be Tuesday. And it would be for, if I'm correct. Oh, well, sorry about that.
No, you're
If I'm correct, it will be 6 to 7:30.
Yeah.
okay.
And
April
Chris had
1st.
something. He used to be at the Lululemon place, like Lululemon, and he used to host on Sunday, every Sunday open. Like I went through
Yeah.
that one time before I opened my business
Awesome.
because there was a rough season I went through, and that helped me.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's how I
beautiful.
got connected with Chris. And
Small
so,
world, crazy.
tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing, and it's good that you're giving back to the community.
Mhm.
And because sometimes people just want to get to the top, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they don't reach
They
down to
forget.
help the next,
No.
generation, or what I mean.
Yeah.
No, that's something I would never do.
That's
I'm
amazing.
I'm committed to, like, helping anybody I can. I'm
And
telling you,
showing your kids,
I
too.
mentor a lot of young kids, man.
That's amazing.
When I tell you, I got like a lot of, my wife would be like, "How do you know this little 21-year-old?" I'm like, he's one of my, I'm mentoring him. I like,
Yeah.
because I'm 42, so how you connect with? I mean, he's like my son. You know what I mean? But again, like you, when I was young, I used to be mentored by older guys. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my good friends, Barry Aceman. He was one of the guys I learned a lot from growing up, and he was a lot older than me. And I mean, I'm great. I was grateful. He taught me, the right decisions to make. Like how to take to the next level. So try to give back. Just
That's
the same way.
amazing. And I love talking to people who are older too, because they share so much wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
so much wisdom, and that's
Absolutely.
the of it.
Well, I want to make sure. I mean, I want to make sure whatever. If someone wants to reach out to you,
Yeah.
how can they reach out to you?
He mentioned it too, right?
Yeah.
On Instagram, just Chicago Theater Works. Is
Yeah,
fine on
Chicago
Instagram?
Theater
Okay.
Works, or again, I'll be honest, I got like 3 Instagrams, but the most.
How do you keep up? I'm
I
struggling with
don't.
just
I know.
one or
I
two.
just hired a content creator, well, a marketing creator or whatever, and she's gonna be hopefully taking over.
That's good.
So
That's good. That's
yeah,
good.
so kind of taking a little bit off my plate. But for right now, I would say Nikki Nitro 1982 Instagram would be the best way, because I see that one. That's the one I'm mostly on.
Okay.
Nikki Nitro on Instagram.
1982.
1982. 1982 on IG. Okay, cool. So I
Yeah.
want to make sure that I share that as well, so that people
Yeah.
can reach out to you if they're interested.
Yeah, if you guys want to book a space,
Here we are.
just get a little discount.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
there's
get a
a
little discount right now because of my girl.
right here. Let him know that you're coming because of me, so he
Yeah.
knows.
Yes.
And then we are gonna be here too. So the men's circle, right? It's April 1st.
Mhm.
You're gonna have the men's circle here. So if anyone's interested in that, make sure you guys put it on your calendar. And then, of course, we're gonna have a karaoke networking event here. So the first 2 hours is gonna be networking. Don't feel like you have to do karaoke, because I'm not. I'm not.
You
I
better.
think I might sing a song or two.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm feeling like an
we'll-
RSC.
we'll-
RESPCT.
Respect.
You gotta spell it right first. You gotta spell it right first.
Right? I don't.
It is Monday. We gonna give you the break on that
I'm
one.
not trying. I'm not trying.
Yes, that age. There was liquor in there apparently.
You
Jesus.
you spiked it.
Jesus. Jeez.
Oh Lord. So we do got the karaoke event April 3rd, 6:30 to about 10, I believe is the time that we're gonna be doing it. First couple of
Nice.
hours will be networking, and then afterwards there'll be more of the karaoke stuff. So don't feel like you have to come and sing, but if you just want to come in and have a good time, network, meet
nice.
other entrepreneurs. Actually, funny because Sebastian, who had the idea, he was just like, "We should do this event," and I was like, "Do entrepreneurs really want to do this?" Like, I kind of
Yeah.
no.
Let the hair loose.
So I was being stubborn, me and my Aquarius self, and I was like,
Mhm.
I don't want to do that. I'm really A-type, like, right? And I'm like, okay, fine. And then I put a post, and then all my entrepreneur friends were like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I was like, oh,
And then we got liquor carriage too.
fine.
We're
I
gonna
was
have
like,
we're gonna have some passion fruit margaritas and all that.
Empanadas here too.
Oh, I could.
Right,
We should
right.
get a vendor if you guys want. I could get somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, let me know.
So it'll be fun. So come out, and then of course I want to make sure I give a shout out. We have Flav. He just said he wrote
Carlos.
Carlos. He put what up, mi gente.
What up, Los?
And then we have Janina. She put that's so awesome. And then of
Yes.
course we have Sonia, part of my community. God blessed
Hey, God
morning.
bless you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So yeah, any final thoughts as we close out?
I mean, you know what? Not the only thing I can say is keep pushing, baby. Be better. Be
Amen.
better than you are today. That's it.
Yes,
Good
even if
stuff.
it's every
Be
day,
great.
just 1%.
1%.
Just 1% every day. Imagine
That's
how
it.
you'll be at the end of the year,
That's it.
right?
That's
You'll
good.
be out of 200.
Yeah, exactly. How Delilah, do you have any events coming up you got to promote?
No, not
Your
at the
prom
end of
dresses.
April. At the end of April 23rd, we're going to be doing a prom dress giveaway. We're partnering up with a beautiful project. And last year we gave away 80 prom dresses. So at the end of April. So if there's anybody who'd like to donate prom dresses, if you
Yeah.
know anybody,
Definitely.
we're collecting prom dresses at the Rock Exchange, and gently used, smoke-free home. You know what I mean? You gotta put
You
this
gotta
stuff
say
out
that.
there.
You gotta say that. Our people be ghetto
yeah,
sometimes.
We're gonna have shoes, jewelry. So if you know anybody who like,
Yeah, send me the info and
I
I'll
will.
post it and I'll share it for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
The flyer should be coming out this week.
Shoot it to me.
And
Yeah.
then so if you know anybody, the Rocket Chains at 3551 South Archer Avenue, they can drop off the prom dresses between Wednesday and Saturday. We're open from 11 to 6 on Wednesday, 11 to 7 on Friday, and Saturday, 11 to 5 on Saturday.
Dope.
Friday, yeah.
That's
so we'll
awesome.
talk to y'all later.
Yes, and
this is
then
amazing.
thank you. And then don't forget wisealliancenetwork.com. All
Yes.
the networking events will be there that I'm putting up, as well as the masterminds. I do 2 a month, co-ed and regular for entrepreneurs. And then I do also I have a mindset workshop for women at the end of the month. And
That's
we're
amazing.
doing that at the Eco Shop on the South Side. So make
Dope.
sure you guys reach out to me. It's all about mindset.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the truth.
Mindset.
That's the
All
truth.
right. Well, thank you, Nick, again.
Thank you
Nick.
guys.
I
It was
appreciate
fun.
you. Yes, this was
you
fun.
guys. Yeah.
It was a good time. It was a
Good
good time. So
My
you,
coffee's gone already. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to
you
fill this
We
guys.
got
up.
liquor. We got liquor.
Oh, don't
It's
start.
early.
Don't start me. I had one guy. Hold on, I gotta before I end. I had one show. The guy spiked my coffee for real.
No way.
He did. He did. He was
For
like,
real? On a
he was
Monday
like,
morning?
yeah, on a Monday morning. He's like, "What's your favorite coffee? Or what's your favorite alcohol?" I was like, "Tequila." And then he was like, and then I told him I like espresso martinis. So when he gave me an espresso, he was like, "There's," he was like, "There's a little secret in there." I was like, "This dude."
Who was it? Bill Cosby?
He was a great
Drink,
dude.
but
Thank
this
you.
tastes-
He was trying to get more than our podcast. That's what he was trying to do. Hey
For
now.
real.
Oh, you guys are too much. All right, you guys have a good one.
Bye,
God bless
y'all.
you. Talk to you soon.